I want you to learn how to do is how to prepare your own slide. Okay? Now, how we do that is we use like a blank. You have the curved ones?
Some of these are curved.
Okay, yeah. So these, and Mr. Sears holding up the same thing. This is just a blank piece of glass, right? It's just a slide, a blank slide. So what you can do is you put a sample onto the slide, and then you put something called a cover slip. So it's these, the cover slips are a lot easier to break. And if you break one by accident, that's okay, just throw it out. They're like really thin plastic, it's not as much glass. So then you put your specimen on there and you put your cover slip over top, and then you can look at it under the microscope. Why would I have to put a cover slip over top, do you think?
So it holds everything in place.
Holds it in place, protects it, doesn't get contaminated. Pardon? Yeah. Yeah, so we can't just stick it on the slide and then put it under. So we put a cover slip on top to kind of contain it and everything.
Did you want me to put water on it?
I have stain. We'll use stain. So what we're going to prepare is some onion. We'll prepare onion skin. So you need to use the skin that is really like flaky, because you want it to be really thin. So you take a really thin slice.
And it peels fairly well.
Yeah, and I'll give you tweezers that you can use.
It's like
And then,
onions, yes. Just like this.
then what you will do is you'll make two slides. One of the slides you'll put methylene blue on, because if you just looked at the onion under the microscope, what do you think it would look like? Clear. You wouldn't get to see the cells themselves, right? So that's why we stain things, so that we can see it more clearly. And so different parts of the cell will get stained differently. Like, did you guys look at the blood smear? Yeah, the red blood cells are a different color than the white blood cells. And the white blood cells aren't white, they're blue. But it's because it was stained a certain color.
Different organelles take different stains.
Yeah. So oh, I lost my... Yeah. So you got to do this with a little bit more precision than what I am.
Put the slide down, put the onion skin on top of it, one drop of the blue or the whatever color Mrs. Aiken has. When you guys are applying the cover slip, if you can lay it so that it starts to go down, lay one edge on it and let it slowly go down. You're trying to get all the air bubbles out.
Yeah.
You don't want to see an air bubble. So what you can also do is not put your finger on the top of the cover slip to push it down, because otherwise all you're going to get is fingerprint on there. So if you take something like the end of your eraser, and push it down from your pencil to push the air bubbles out, it helps to get the air bubbles out.
Yeah. So you just, you tilt it and then you just drop it. You don't try and lay it down slowly or anything. You just
45 degrees.
Yeah. And then there's a lot more going on here, right? So what you can do is you just use like a Kleenex and you hold it on one side, and the water, due to adhesion, which I'll teach you about later, it will pull along, and then you're not left with a messy slide.
So
Try not to get the stain on it. Okay, so if I went and took this
Here,
cover
I have
slip
a
like this, okay, here's the cover slip, put it on.
Okay, so because you can't all see me doing that, only Sebastian really got to watch, you can see the video so that it's like a zoom in of what's going on. What were you going to ask? Oh, okay. Should turn this down now.
And don't eat the onion, it's been in the fridge for a long time.
To do that, you need to just pull the edge up a little bit, and then you're going to get this little tiny thin layer. You can see it that I'm pulling. That's one cell layer thick. So pull that one
You'll
layer,
use
be
four
really
cells.
careful with it, we don't want to damage the cells. And put it on your slide. Now it's starting to roll a little bit. If it rolls and folds, just try to press it down. So that's one cell layer thick, pretty amazing. That's why you're going to be able to see through it. But we need to stain the cells because they're clear. So to stain it, you're going to put a few drops of iodine on it, and then I would let it sit for about maybe a minute. While you're waiting in that minute, you can clean up and organize your stuff. So I put a few drops on it, and I actually just saw it go under the onion piece, which is good. The onion skin repels it a little bit, so it's not going to want to stay on. So you might need to corral the stain a little bit by moving it with your cover slip. So I'm doing my 45-degree angle cover slip, and I'm going to let it rest. And I can see some air bubbles. I'm going to
She's
tap
saying
down a
she
little
pushed
bit.
it a bit, but I want you to
Now
just
guys,
drop
I
it.
still see some air bubbles. I just don't want to view
Yeah,
that.
don't do that.
Don't do that.
So that is going to sit for about 1 minute. And again, you can clean up during that minute. I'm just going to let it sit. And here's what you're going to be looking for. When you view it on the microscope, I think this is probably high power. You're going to see a bunch of structures that look like so. This is one cell right here that I'm going to outline with my finger. So it's geometrical, kind of rectangular-ish. And then right here is the nucleus. And inside that nucleus, when you view it on high power, hopefully you're going to see some dots inside that nucleus. And each dot is a nucleolus.
Okay, can you see any other cell organelles inside of the cell here?
Like the little dots?
You can? Where?
Tiny little dots.
All I see is the nucleus as a cell organelle. We know that there's other cell organelles, but all I can really see is the nucleus. Because it's like this is just one cell. And so that's just the one big dot inside the one cell. That's the nucleus. Okay? To see inside of it, you said? Yeah, I agree. So that will take a little while. So what we'll do instead today is just practicing focusing images using different slides.